I can't believe it's finally here. The Alien 3 review.
Let's go pick everyone up.
Yeah! Woo!
I am ready to record Alien 3. Let's freaking go, baby!
Clayton, we're outside. Get on in.
I'll be out in a second.
Hey guys, I want to review Alien 3 too. Pick me.
Get in!
I'm a little lost right now.
Brad Jones, Cinema Snob, let's go!
Hey, what's up? I'm Joe Lascola.
And I'm Sean O'Rourke.
And we're talking about Alien 3 today with Tony from Hack the Movies.
I can't wait.
Oh, it's gonna be a good one.
I think I just heard the van pull up.
Me too. Let's hit it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Mid-salad! Riley!
The bus to review Alien 3 is here.
Wow, I can't believe it.
I'm ready to get on the van to review Alien 3.
Scott the Woz, we're here.
Okay, Trish, Frank, Crystal, Ian, Xander. I think that's everyone. Jess, how does it finally feel to be on a full episode? Just a dream come true.
Oh, Bafangulo! Oh,
Oh. So they're all dead. All of them. Even mint salad? Okay, well, that's kind of a bummer. Thanks for letting me know. All right.
I'm sorry for your loss.
What? Who the hell are you?
I'm Prison Mike. I just escaped from prison, so don't say anything. Nobody knows where we're at, right?
No one ever comes into this store, so you should be safe, Prison Mike.
All right, good.
Hey, Prison...
I'm hiding out, and I can't have people know where I'm at.
No. No one will ever find you here. Ignore these cameras. These cameras mean nothing.
Oh, good, cameras.
Yeah, just ignore the cameras. Don't even pay attention to them. Prison Mike, I have a question. Have you seen the first 3 Alien movies?
Yes, we just actually watched them in prison before I escaped.
Oh, wow. So you had like an alien night in prison?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they had those in prison, but...
They have everything in prison.
Okay, well, speaking of prison and Alien, do you want to talk about Alien 3 with me?
Sure. So you don't tell anyone where I'm at.
I will not, Prison Mike, I will not tell anyone where you are at. You're really helping me. I've been meaning to talk about Alien 3 theatrical cut for a really long time, and you're really helping me out of a jam here, Prison Mike.
Deal.
We're going to go through this movie, and I'm going to tell you why exactly the theatrical cut of Alien 3 failed. Okay, so, Prison Mike, what did you think of the first Alien movie? Were you familiar with it?
You know, I'm not a big sci-fi guy.
Okay.
Right? But I liked it way more than I thought I was going to like it.
Okay.
I thought Sigourney Weaver was really good in it. She was so good that she acted her ass off. And I mean, she literally acted her ass off. She had no butt. No butt. But other than that, it was really good.
Good. I'm glad you liked the first Alien movie. It's a very, very good movie. It was very unexpected. Did you know ahead of time that the thing was going to come out of the guy's chest?
I had an idea, but it kind of took me off guard.
Okay, because that's one of those things where it's like a lot of it gets spoiled before people even see the movie because it's so memorable. It's like the biggest part of the thing, but you went in fresh. You didn't know that was going to happen.
No.
Awesome. Did you like Aliens, the sequel?
I did. I actually liked that better than the first one.
That seems to be everyone's go-to. They really like the second. I like the first one more, but they're both great. But a lot of people tend to like the second one more because it's got the guns, the big robots.
Exactly.
So who's your favorite character in these movies?
Ripley, believe it or not.
Good choice, Prison Mike. So Prison Mike, a lot of people love the first 2 Alien movies. They loved them a lot. They were great. There was a lot of time in between, and for years, people were like, all right, well, when's Alien 3 coming out? When they doing a third one? How are you going to top the previous one? Because it's like, the second one is like one of the biggest sequels of all time. Like, in terms of like outdoing, like a lot of people think it outdid the first one. It's like, how do you possibly top that?
Yeah, that's why you got to wait 30 years to watch them. You just watch them all in a row.
Yes. You just binge them. Like I did as a kid. Well, actually, no, I watched them over the course of like a few months because you had to rent them at Blockbuster. So yeah, no one knew how to top Alien 3. And you know who else didn't know how to top Alien 3?
Alien 4.
No, well, yeah. No, the studio, Fox, they had no idea what to do with this movie.
Why is that?
This movie was a disaster behind the scenes. Let me walk you through here. They had William Gibson write a screenplay. He's one of the biggest sci-fi writers of all time. He did a lot of like cyberpunk stuff. He wrote a script and they didn't like it. They rejected it. They were like, nah, get it out. They wanted Rennie Harlin to direct this movie. He's a famous action director. And he had this idea where he's like, I want to go to the alien homeworld. I want it to have the whole movie take place on the alien homeworld. And I don't want to film anything on a spaceship or do anything that the other two movies did. Which is ironic because he directed Die Hard 2, which is just Die Hard 1 in an airport. He like basically made the same movie. But yeah, he couldn't figure out a way to do it. He could not figure out a way to make this movie. And now what do you think the studio did? You think they took their time and they looked through more directors and maybe pushed the movie off?
No, I think they would have done what I did and just rushed it and pushed it through.
Yes. So even though they didn't really have a director or a script or an idea or anything, and they didn't even know if Sigourney Weaver was coming back, they put out a trailer for Alien 3 that said it was coming summer of 1992. And then it said, on Earth, everyone will hear you scream.
We will discover on Earth, everyone can hear you scream.
So they just outright lied. They're like, yeah, we got a movie coming out. It's on Earth. We'll think of it later.
That's pretty ballsy. That's a bet I wouldn't be willing to take.
That's pretty ballsy to just come up with this idea and like get everyone really, really hyped up for it when you don't really have a clear idea ahead of time. Yeah. So then finally they got Vincent Ward. He was like this real artsy guy. He made a movie called Company of Wolves or something. They got him to come up with a story that basically is the framework for this film we're going to talk about. But his idea had some similarities, like Ripley crashing, characters dying. There was only one alien, and then the queen alien embryo. But what was different was it was on a wooden planet.
Made of wood.
Yeah, I guess it had a big metal center that was all technological, but the people who lived on the planet were like religious monks, and they didn't like technology. So the rest of the planet was all wood.
Okay.
Now, when you watch the first two movies, did you think that somewhere out there was a wooden planet?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, the wood planet thing didn't really last. Everyone was like, okay, that's kind of fucking stupid.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, they started making sets for this version of the movie. So they didn't even agree on the script yet. They weren't all on board, but they started building the sets because, again, they put out a trailer that said coming in summer of 1992.
Assuming they made them out of wood?
Yes, those were actually made out of wood. So eventually they fire Vincent Ward. He gets a story credit, and they get David Fincher to come and direct. Now, he's made some big This is his first movie.
Alien 3 is his first movie.
That is his first like feature-length film.
And the other guys suck so bad, they just pulled this guy in.
Yes.
Pretty much. This rookie.
Pretty much. They're like, this guy has never made a movie before. He's done some effects work and music videos. We got him. He's in. But David Fincher, he went on to make like huge movies. You ever see Seven?
No.
You ever see Fight Club?
Fight Club, we live it every day. With the Dementors in prison.
Did you ever see Panic Room?
Yes.
Okay, he directed Panic Room.
Fight Club's a big one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, and I think he produced House of Cards with Kevin Spacey.
Oh, that creep.
You know a lot of creeps in prison, Mike?
Yeah, but not that creep.
So Kevin Spacey's
He's
too
lucky.
creepy for prison.
I'll give him a knuckle sandwich.
So yeah, I'm surprised David Fincher went on to have this like huge career making these huge movies because like this was a well-documented mess behind the scenes.
So they just went balls to the wall here.
Yeah.
They just putting out the trailer before they even got Sigourney Weaver back.
Yeah.
And then they just hire this rookie director and just, here, make this film and just wing it.
They basically say,
just wing this thing, huh?
Go make this film. The sets are already being built. They look kind of like a church, so guess make that work. And he didn't even have a script. They're like, we'll write you the script as you're shooting it. And it's like, that's the worst way to make a movie. That's like the worst possible.
It's like going backwards.
Yeah, they really did go backwards. So Sigourney Weaver really liked David Fincher, and she asked, like, what do you have in mind for Ripley in this film? And he apparently went, I don't know, bald? And since she's a producer on this movie, she's like, yes, I will be bald. Everyone will be bald in this
Exactly.
movie. She also,
bald is beautiful, Tony.
This is going to come up later. She had a clause in her contract that if she shot and had to come back for reshoots, they had to pay her $40,000 to cut her head again.
No one paid me $40,000 to cut my hair.
I'm sorry. You should be one of the biggest actors of all time. I don't know what to tell you. And what do you like about the look of the alien from the first movie?
It was the dumbest looking thing I ever seen. It was so fake. Close up, it looked real. But far away?
Well, okay, maybe not the execution, but what did you think of the design? You like the dome head and the mouth in the mouth?
Yeah, I like how the mouth came out of the mouth.
Yeah.
The little mini mouth, the scary mouth.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I did like the long head.
Yes. So that was done by H.R. Giger. We talk a lot about it in our first Alien review. Famous artist. They actually were going to bring him back. They're like, hey, make some more aliens for us. Whip up some designs. And then he did. And then they went, nah, we're not using them.
Why?
I guess because I don't know. I don't really know. I've watched the special features so many times and I always forget why. I think he just didn't want to leave whatever country he was in to go work on the movie. So they're like, all right, good. Whatever. They eventually somehow slapped the movie together and threw it out into the theaters, and we got Alien, the 1992 theatrical cut. Now, before we deep dive into this, how did you feel about this movie when you were done watching it?
I liked it. It was going with what you said. It was, I mean, you would think it would be horrible, everything you just told me.
So you actually liked the movie?
I did.
Oh, wow. A lot of people, when they first go into it, they don't, especially this version of the movie, they do not like this one. People hate this movie.
As opposed to what other version?
We'll talk about that another time. There was another version released years later. So when I was a kid, I really loved the first two. And at that point, there were only 3 movies. The fourth one hadn't come out yet. So we rented the third one and I got excited for it. And this is what a lot of people went through. They're like, yeah, Alien 3. Going to be a lot of action again. They're going to be shooting up aliens and Hicks and Newt are going to be there. And then you turn the movie on. And I will say the beginning with the 20th Century Fox logo, they have that scary version of it. That was really cool. This movie begins. It's kind of misleading what's going on in the beginning. So the queen.
Yeah, I was a little thrown off.
The queen left an egg on the ship. When did she have time to do that? I've always been curious.
I don't know. That's a good question.
It was kind of weird. It's like under a floorboard. It's like, when did she do that?
But I noticed in all these sci-fi movies, they just make up the rules as they go.
Yes. So they're cryo frozen, but not for 57 years this time. I think it's only been a few weeks. So we see the stuff in the.
I don't know how somebody could be frozen or in a coma for 57 years. No food, no water.
I guess whatever's in that pod keeps you young.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with it. I don't know. You should never watch a Star Trek. You'll be really confused.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't even
try.
You'll be like, how did they beam them? I don't get it. They disappear and then they reappear somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's one egg with one face hugger. And it's just like, I think Newt's pod gets cracked. The movie's making it intentionally confusing what's going on. But someone has an alien on their face. We see an x-ray of it. And the next thing you know, the pod is just launched out of the ship.
Yeah.
Onto a prison planet. And then this is where most people got pissed off. Hicks and Newt are dead. Did you expect that to happen?
No, I did not expect that to happen.
Were you upset by that? Because a lot of people are personally offended by that.
Not so much. I've seen a lot of things in prison. Right. I was more upset about the dog than anything.
Yeah. So they find the escape the escape pod, and they find the corpses there. Fucking Hicks gets wrecked.
Yeah,
Hicks has got a beam in him and is split open. The actor from the second movie was pissed.
Why?
Someone went to the effects warehouse when they were making the movie. He was already mad that he wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
And apparently the alien was going to come out of him at one point because they said, yeah, I saw the prop of you with the alien coming out of you. And he called them and flipped out. He's like, no, you're not letting them fucking have the alien come out of me. And his agents screamed to them. This is this whole thing. And you notice they have his picture on the computer when they're writing that he's dead.
Yeah.
He got paid the same amount of money he did for Aliens just to have that picture in the movie.
What?
Yeah, he caused a shitstorm, but now he regrets
Good
it.
for him.
He regrets it because David Fincher went on to be this like amazing director. And
Yeah,
he's like, if I had known who David
And he
Fincher...
screwed up all the connections.
Yeah, it's like, if I had known, I
He
probably
could have been in Fight Club.
Probably, yeah, he could have been in Fight
Idiot.
Club. Oh, God, he screwed it up. Yeah, so they're dead. They're fucking gone.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, but the dog, he knows what's going on. He sees a face hugger in there.
Yeah.
So the face hugger face hugged one of them, but it's still alive. In the previous movies, they died after face hugging something. So this one could just stick around, I guess.
Yeah, how convenient.
It's kind of like they're breaking the rules of their own universe.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing. All they had to do was show 2 eggs in the beginning instead of 1.
I know. What?
Why? Anyway.
It's like a kid playing a game. They just make up the rules as they go.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever play rock, paper, scissors with some assholes? They would go like rock, paper, scissors, and then you would always get the one kid that would be like gun. And it's like, that's not the rule, Jimmy. Okay? It's rock, paper, scissors. All right?
Yeah.
You can't say gun, bazooka. Like those kids fucking sucked.
I punched those kids in the face.
Yeah. Is that how you got to prison?
We won't talk about that.
Okay. So the Rottweiler made me sad as a kid. By the way,
sad as an adult.
By the way, they make an action figure of the Rottweiler. I thought that was pretty funny.
I'm just gonna take this.
Okay, you can have that prison bike. Spike, I think his name was.
Yeah.
But it made me sad because when I was a kid, I had a Rottweiler and I was watching this movie with the Rottweiler in the room, and I'm like, oh man,
I would have busted out into tears. I would have hugged him the rest of the movie. Just held on to him.
I also watched The Omen with that Rottweiler once.
I've never seen that.
Oh yeah, apparently Rottweilers are the dogs of Satan. There's like a scene where Rottweilers are trying to attack all the main characters, and I'm just like watching it with my Rottweiler in the room, and he's hearing the dogs bark, and he was just like looking around.
Look at the balls on this thing. This toy dog got big balls.
I never noticed it, but you're right. They gave this dog just huge testicles. And you know what's funny? This is the one that they sell in Walmart. So they're making.
Does he got balls too?
No. So they're making modern alien toys, and they look like the ones from the movie, but they're colored to be all fun because they're meant for like little kids. This is meant for like little kids whose parents love aliens, so please both them. But then they made the dog look super realistic and gave it testicles.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little confused by that.
And they're hairy and veiny.
Thanks for letting me know they were veiny. So Ripley is now in the prison. And like I said, fans were hyped up for this. So what the fans wanted were their favorite characters coming back and having a nice adventure, a fun adventure full of thrills and whatnot. They wanted to see the people they care about go through Alien 3 together. And instead, they only got one of them with a bunch of bald prisoners. And people were really upset that they hyped this movie up for a really long time. And they were upset that it was mostly just bald prisoners that they never met before.
I mean, I don't get the problem with bald prisoners.
I don't either. I like this. I think this all works. I was a little upset when I was a kid the first time I watched this. But as I watched it years later, I'm like, there's something good in here. I kind of like this. It might not make all sense. Might not all make sense. And then eventually I found out there was a different cut of the movie. And I'm like, all right, well, this is great. But yeah, I guess all that hype. They're still really upset about it. And I'm sure they'll be complaining about their favorite character just being stuck with bald prisoner for years to come.
But you liked it so much that she went bald.
Yes. Well, actually, the reason she goes bald, the reason they came up with was that there's lice in the colony. So that's why she had to shave. And the lice that they used for lice, it was just baby crickets.
I mean, that's why I'm bald, because of lice.
There's lice in the prison. Well, I hear the prison system is not great.
Yeah.
It's rough
Not
in
the
there.
best.
I can see why you wanted to get out.
Yeah.
Luckily, I hate the government, so I'm just letting you stay here. I mean, I guess depending on what you did, but I don't want to ask, not my problem. My problem right now is getting through Alien 3. Okay, Prison Mike? So the prisoners are pissed off because they're all in this kind of weird religious cult in the prison.
Yeah.
And they just found out that there was a woman there.
I just want to say that I've taken a vow of celibacy. That also includes women.
I mean, at least it was a woman with no butt, so. That helps.
If this movie was made now, they'd be like, oh man, she's got no ass. Not interested.
Exactly.
But yeah, so
I thought that's why she shaved her head, to help them look more like a dude.
Yes, I guess so. So the warden is like, I feel bad for the warden. He's like, all right, everyone relax. She's just here for 2 weeks, and then she'll be gone. She'll stay in the infirmary. Everyone relax. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Everyone thought the aliens were coming out of their pants. It was just their boner being around the woman for a long time.
The warden does make a boner joke later on in the movie. But yeah, you know what's funny? Clemens is played by Charles Dance, the medical prisoner. Oh, well, you think he's a doctor, and then you find out like he's got a whole backstory.
Yeah.
But he always plays like a bad guy. This is one of the few movies I've seen him in where he's a good guy.
Well, I was kind of like sketchy about him at first. I was like, I feel like he's going to be a bad guy.
Right.
But then he just got nicer and nicer, and then he died.
Yeah. But like, it's because he always plays a bad guy. I'm pretty sure he's in Game of Thrones, although I never really watched that show, but he's in it. He was in the newest Godzilla movie. He's in a movie I talked about recently, The Last Action Hero. He's always a bad guy, evil British guy.
Yeah.
That's kind of his thing.
Brits.
Yeah, you know what? Wasn't really the bad guy, but he was a jerk in a recent movie that came out a few years ago. Ghostbusters 2016.
The one with all females?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prison Mike, what
about right.
What would you rather have to do? Go back to prison or watch that movie once?
I'd probably go back to prison twice.
You know, I know 5 women actually, who would agree with you on that. Yeah, so he tells the doctor, he's like, please do not let her out of the medical area. For the love of God, please don't do that. So she wakes up, and I love that he's just like, yeah, your friends are dead. And she doesn't even take like a minute to grieve, because right away she's like, oh fuck, it was probably an alien. It was probably a goddamn alien. Which is fair. I would also think that too. So right away she demands to see her crashed ship. She's like, I need to see the ship. I need to see what happened. And she goes there. She finds out that Newt drowned and died, but then she sees the acid burn on the thing, and she's like, oh fuck. She's like, I've seen this before, twice actually. I know what's going on here. In between this, that one prisoner finds his dog looking all sick and messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, his face is all messed up, as if something hugged his face too hard.
Exactly. And he just barely even cared. He's like, oh, it's a boo-boo.
He's like, who would do this to a dog?
Yeah,
I
who
don't
would do this to a
understand.
dog? I would be finding out and everything.
Yeah, and you know what's weird? No one ever mentions this dog ever again.
Nope, like nothing.
Once the dog's out of the movie, it just disappears. No one ever mentions finding the body. No one ever mentions the guy who had the dog.
Or them big-ass balls.
Or its big-ass balls. It's almost as if they added this dog after the movie was already shot. That's that's how I perceive it. I'm like, wow, it seems like this dog is not really in this movie and it's just wedged in here. But anyway, let's back to this. So the fans are already upset that Newt's dead. They're like, oh man, Newt died. I really wanted to see Newt in Alien 3 because they had the really good relationship in the last movie. So to add insult to injury, they're like, oh, why don't we do an autopsy on her? Do you think this was a little too far?
I think so.
It was a little, like the fans are already upset.
Especially from the doctor.
Yeah. The fans are already upset. It's like, all right, well, movie, you kind of like, you're going to have to do a lot to win me back here. Please don't do anything creepy. And they're like, oh, we're going to cut the little girl's chest open and have blood everywhere and it'd be gross. And it's like, oh man, that's rough. I personally think it's cool. But, cause I mean, like they wanted to make this one like a major tragedy. So you got to make it look like Ripley lost everything.
Why did the fans get upset at that? Cause I don't see it that much of a big deal.
Because the first one's really the only Alien movie to have like a happy ending, kind of.
Yeah.
So they wanted them to like see them together. There were comics being made at the time about Hicks, Ripley, and Newt going on these adventures. And when this movie came out, they had to rewrite those comics and reprint them to where like Hicks and Newt now have different names. And then the Ripley in those comics is a robot Ripley. Yeah, it didn't make any sense. So yeah, so they're upset, but like then you have like the body being ripped up, and it's pretty like the guys who do this are Studio 80i, and they're pretty good with special effects. So the body looks like a real
I guess
fucking
they didn't
body.
do that Alien then, because they were not good with special effects there.
I'm getting to that. I don't think they were. We're getting to that because some of this has the best.
We need to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when it comes. But they're the best at like the practical effects, the makeup effects and stuff. They're good at making corpses.
Yeah,
like a lot of when they're like bringing like Ripley in the beginning, she's like basically just like a rubber corpse.
Bishop looked cool.
Bishop looked really cool in this. I can't wait to talk about that scene. So yeah, the autopsy reveals she drowned, and the warden's kind of pissed off because they're not supposed to touch anything for them. So this prison belongs to Weyland-Yutani, the evil corporation. Yeah. And he I would be pissed off too, where he comes in, he's like, you cut up the bodies, you son of a bitch. Like, we work for people. They have to investigate this. I can't have you cutting up the bodies.
They just cut everything out. Just went right. Boom.
Yeah. And then Ripley's an idiot. She's just like, oh, there could be an infection. And she goes, it could be cholera. And then the doctor's like, there hasn't been cholera in 200 years. It's like, Ripley, you couldn't think of anything more modern?
Yeah.
It's like, that'd be like you trying to get out of prison being like, hey man, I have the plague. I don't know. I got to get the bubonic plague. And they were like, you clearly do not have the bubonic plague. You're staying in here. So just to be extra super sure nothing's wrong with the bodies, even though Ripley knows how this goes, she's like, oh yeah, we got to burn the bodies. But like, she knows like it would be in their chest and break out, right? Like she's...
Yeah, but she tried to burn the last alien.
But it's like clear that there's no alien in them. So I think she's just being a little extra. But it gives an excuse to have...
Being on the safe side.
Yeah, it gives an excuse for everyone to be in one area, having a funeral, while the alien is bursting out of the dog somewhere else, unbeknownst to them. I do like, they call it the Bambi burster. So this chest burster has arms and a legs, and it's just like shaking like a baby deer.
Yeah.
I like
birth to it or something.
Yeah, so I like what they did with this, and the toys and games went wild with this idea, because before this we only saw the alien coming out of humans, so they're like standing upright mostly. But with this one, it's like, oh well, it came out of a dog. It should run on all fours. Yeah. It should move a little differently. It should bark. I don't think it's gonna bark. I don't think it would bark. But the reason I bring it up is the toy line went crazy with this idea. The what was it? The Kenner alien toys in the 90s. They had scorpion aliens, praying mantis aliens, like aliens that didn't even make sense. And if you would like to know more, go to the podcast Peg Warmers. I was a guest on their Kenner Aliens episode. You listen to a lot of podcasts in prison.
Brag.
What?
Sweet brag.
Yes. Do you listen to podcasts in prison?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, cool. You should listen to Peg Warmers. It's all about toys and collecting toys.
Peg warmers.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds a little weird.
When a toy doesn't sell well, they call it a peg warmer because it just sits on the peg and it doesn't sell.
Gotcha.
Okay. Does peg warmer
like
mean
a bench warmer?
Does peg warmer mean something else in prison?
No.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going, Prison Mike. I really liked the funeral. I thought it was really nice. When dropping in the fire. The music's really nice in this movie. They got the whole like Christian church music kind of going on in this. And I really like Dylan's prayer. What do you think of Dylan's prayer?
Nothing's certain. Only that some get called, some get saved.
I really don't remember it. What was it?
I don't know. He's just talking about like, people die and then there's new beginnings. He's doing a whole thing. He's like, every death is the promise of new life. And as their bodies are falling in the fire, the aliens coming out of the dog. It was a cool scene.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I like Dylan. You like Dylan?
I do like Dylan.
Yes.
Yeah, he was cool.
He's very religious. Are you religious in prison?
I am religious. I'm Christian.
Yeah, like the characters in this. Did you take the vow of celibacy?
I don't know what's up with those weirdos.
So I guess you're not sitting in prison waiting for God to come back because you left prison. So you're not as crazy. You're not as into it as these guys are.
Well, I am waiting for Jesus to come back. He will return.
Just not in prison.
Anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Anytime.
Well, these guys are specifically because we find out that they're like, you find out in a couple scenes later, like Clemens is telling her, it's like, yeah, so we used to work for the company and this prison had a bunch of prisoners and then they left. But these guys wanted to stay because they formed a Christian apocalyptic cult and I stayed with them.
Yeah.
So, So after this, Ripley is bald. She shaves her head finally.
Welcome to the club, Ripley.
Welcome to the club. So Ripley's supposed to be smart. In the previous movie, she's like the smart one.
Yeah.
She's like, don't let the alien in there. And then she's like, don't go to that goddamn planet. Don't go there. But, and again, I could see why people got upset with this because she was warned 10,000 times, do not interact with the inmates. So she goes to have fucking lunch with them unaccompanied. Yeah. And then this is also a problem people have with the film. So the first film, it's like truckers in space. They're relatable. They're kind of fun characters. Yeah. Like you can like, even though they're in space on a spaceship, they kind of act like you would see like an average Joe act.
Yeah.
And then aliens, it's Marines. And it's like, okay, well, I want these guys to live because, you know, they're soldiers and whatnot. I'm on their side.
Yeah, they're like a Marines meets a Space Force.
Yes, they are the Space Force, technically. Yeah. They're called the Colonial Marines, but you know what? This is the future, so I'm sure they started off as the Space Force.
Yes, exactly.
But in this one, like, all the characters are awful people. Like I guess the warden and his, like, assistant are the only ones who aren't prisoners, but they're kind of assholes. But then Dylan is like, I like murdered women. And then
I was like, damn, dude.
So you as the audience, it's just like, well.
Yeah, I was like, what?
And they've all like murdered and like tortured and did like all like even the warden tells them like, we've got like cuties fans in this place. This is real messed up.
Yeah, they were bad dudes.
So like the rest of the movie, it's just kind of like, well, I don't really care if they die. Like really, it's just like, it's just like, I mean, I know like they're pretty much just there to get eaten. But before the previous two movies, you kind of cared for the characters. You didn't want them to die. But it's like, oh no, the Cuties fan got eaten. Darn it. I can't believe it.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow. The child murderer. His head got blown in. Oh, tough luck, buddy. So yeah, he tells her like, you need to leave us alone. So yeah, then this is the scene where Clemens tells them about the past. And then she just sleeps with Clemens.
I thought that it was real weird. They were very like discreet about it.
They
like,
film around it, yeah.
Yeah, she just got out of the bed and like I was like, I think he got out of the bed. One of them got out of bed and was just like, wait a minute, did that just happen?
Yeah. Poor Hicks. Hicks had to do the flirting the whole movie.
Yeah.
He got sprayed with acid. She had to go there and he was like, when I get better, I'm sure we're gonna finally bone. And I taught her how to use a gun. This guy's just there and he's British and she's like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Women will do that. They're like, oh, that guy's got an accent. It's like, oh man, I worked so hard. It's like, oh, that guy's got an accent. It's like, but it's Charles Dance. He looks like the devil. I'm pretty sure he's played the devil once. So yeah, they bone off screen. And then a dude is cleaning a vent next to a giant fan. Would you ever, do you have to do this in prison? You ever clean next to giant fans?
No. Doesn't sound like the brightest idea.
It doesn't sound like the brightest idea. The fan is blowing, we find out.
Yeah.
So he's singing and he sees what he thinks is his dog in like the little under area of the vent. He should be like, how the fuck would a dog get down there? That's clearly not a dog. Also, it doesn't look like a dog at all. But this is, I think, the only time we've ever seen an alien shedding. Because in the previous movies, they never show you it shedding. They just find the skin. And this is the first time we see an alien spitting acid. I don't know if it was clear it was doing that, though. Did you catch on to that?
No, I didn't catch on to that.
Because, like, the tongue doesn't come out. It just shoots acid at his face. And he burns his face. It's fucking awesome when he gets thrown into that fan, though.
It is.
That was pretty fucking awesome. Did you ever watch any of the Star Wars movies?
No.
Okay. Well, there's one where Luke Skywalker, like, he falls into, like, a big vent. And people have re-edited it to add this scene into it, so it looks like Luke Skywalker gets turned into the fan and shredded. It's pretty awesome.
We watched them in high school. I slept the entire time. They said you could either watch Star Wars or go to sleep. I chose the latter.
Well, you know what? If you watched Star Wars, you might have learned the difference between right and wrong and not have gone to prison, Mike.
Maybe.
I
chose sleep.
Instead, you slept through that valuable lesson.
Yes.
So Clemens knows that there's something up, and Ripley's not telling him anything. She keeps dancing around. It's like, why are we ripping up a dead girl's body? It's like, what was that acid burn? And he's like, I found another acid burn. Can you just fucking tell me what that is, please? And he's the one who points out, it's like, oh, he couldn't have been sucked into the fan because it was blowing.
Yeah.
Ripley searches her pod for the flight recorder, but she needs Bishop to use it because she needs some audio aspect to it. The warden chews out Clemens for letting Ripley out, and he's 100% right. He should chew him out.
Idiot.
Yes. Because what happens right away? The prisoners try to attack Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
And the one guy had to put goggles on. That was weird. He bends Ripley over and then he puts goggles on. Like he gets ready for it.
I mean, I guess Freddy's gonna spray everywhere. All that buildup.
See a lot of that in Prison Mike?
Maybe.
I never thought of it. All these years, I'm like, why is he putting goggles on? But yeah, you know what? Anyway, Dylan saves her. Because Dylan is like the religious leader and he punishes them when they do shit like that. Also, you're right. I feel bad for Bishop, who's just like,
yeah.
It's like arms just flopping around.
His eye popping out.
Wait, why was
this weird goo in his eye?
It doesn't really make sense why they would put Bishop in the escape pod because he's just an android and he's broken.
Yeah.
Was he even in one of the pods? I don't even remember him being in a pod.
I don't remember him being in a pod either.
Yeah.
And he just plug his ass in and he just starts talking.
Well, that's in a couple seconds, but yeah. So then we meet the character Gallic, who's this.
Oh, I think they're after me.
No, I think we're good. We're good.
Are you sure?
We're good. Just ignore that sound. You're fine. It's an old VHS store. It makes sounds. Okay. So we meet the character Gallic. He's like this creepy guy. He's like this really annoying guy that all the other inmates hate. He's there with two other prisoners, and they're like lighting candles to see how big this one tunnel is.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is like the place has been abandoned for like years, and they only ever hang out in one area, so they don't even know how big the facility is. They have to like light candles to see how big it is. But yeah, during this time, the candles get blown out. They go to investigate, and the fucking alien comes out and just kills both of those dudes.
Yeah.
But Gallic gets just sprayed in blood. That was pretty fucking gnarly.
That was.
And the alien smiles at him. I thought that was. I mean, it's not smiling. It's just showing
like a sarcastic smile.
It looks like it's smiling.
Yeah.
But he becomes like infatuated with the alien. Like he's just in love with it or something.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you just can't look away. You're just,
yeah.
Holy shit, this is awesome.
And to be fair, the alien, I guess, spares him, but I guess it had two bodies. Didn't feel like eating a third one.
Yeah.
But at this point is when Ripley gets Bishop and plugs him in.
How are you? I like your new haircut.
That is a whole animatronic. That's not the actor at all. So they had like remote controls and like gears and stuff. And that was like all done like remotely with like cables and whatnot. And it is like one of the best practical effects I've ever seen. Like for years I thought, I'm like, is that makeup? I'm like, that can't be makeup because his head is fucking caved in.
Yeah.
But it's actually a really sad scene because he's giving her information. You can tell he's like sad. He's trying to make jokes. He's like, my legs hurt.
Yeah.
He's like, I love what you did with your hair. But yeah, he lets her know. It's like, oh yeah, there was an alien on board and it was on the EEV and now it's here.
Yeah.
And then he's like, by the way, Ripley, can you kill me? And that was like a bummer. So now it's just like
a bummer.
I can imagine like being in the theater, like, all right, well, thank God Bishop's still alive. And then he's like, please kill me, Ripley. I need to die. And it's like, well, fuck, now they're all dead. But that's when they bring Gallic in. He keeps talking to the alien. He keeps mentioning the alien as a dragon.
Yeah.
And then Ripley's just like, I want to talk about this dragon. And the warden's like, what the fuck? What could you possibly know about this? So she tells him. And of course she doesn't believe him.
No, he doesn't. Like, I think she knows a little bit more than you.
Yeah, by the way, like, you're in space. Why wouldn't you believe that there's weird aliens out there?
That's a perfect place for him.
Yeah, he's just like, oh yeah, well, we are in space. There probably is a fucking alien that can do that.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Each of these movies, they're like, what? No. And it's like, well, yeah, the universe is pretty big. There's a lot of planets.
Yes.
Also, she came from like a military vessel, so I don't know why he's not believing her.
I know.
It's not like she's just some random stranger. She's a fucking lieutenant. She should be listening to him. He should be listening to her.
Apparently that don't matter to him.
No, it doesn't. He's like, what are you talking about, woman? You're crazy. And she's like, do we have any guns so we can shoot the thing? And he's like, no, we don't have any weapons.
And we're fucked.
That was so annoying. They have no weapons. Like, what are you guys doing?
Well, because it's not a functioning prison anymore. They're only there when like the company needs to like get rid of toxic waste. And that's it. Like, that's the only place for them existing. It's like, yeah, if we ever need to drop toxic waste, we need people to take care of it. So he's like, yeah, we're on the honor system. No one has guns or anything. And she's just like, well, this is a huge problem. She talks to Gallic a little bit. Again, they're really hyping up this character Gallic. They're giving him a lot of scenes. He's all like, because they think he killed the two guys, so he's all like tied up. Clemens, closes the curtain, stops him, and Clemens gives his backstory, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I was addicted to morphine, and then a bunch of people got lit on fire. And then they died because I gave him the wrong pain. He's gave him the wrong dose of painkiller.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah, and he's like, so 27 people died. So
but he took all the credit for it. He's like, I deserve more time.
Yeah, and I love when he just sits there and he goes, well, at least I got off the morphine. Like, that's the same. It's like, yeah, well, 20-something people died.
Yeah. He accepted responsibility.
So that's really sad, and you can tell she really likes him, even though he's kind of a rebound because Hicks died.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, she's trying to she's like, I trust you and everything. And then the fucking alien punches a hole in his head.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah. Now this is.
I knew that was coming because I was like, they're building this up. He's about to die.
Yes.
And then boom.
Now this is the iconic moment that's like probably on the back of one of these tapes. The alien's face right in her face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They that's in the trailer. That's on a lot of the posters. Like that's what sold this movie. But right before that is the first time we see the full-size alien. Now, what did you see it throughout the film? What do you think about the alien when you see it in its full size?
Oh, I thought it looked so real fake.
Yeah, that's the thing. So this is a year before CGI. Well, CGI exists, but it's like Jurassic Park's not out yet. So people are trying to get creative. People are like, all right, everyone knows what stop motion is, like the claymation sort of thing. So they came up with another idea. They're like, hey, let's do a rod puppet. So this is a puppet on a blue screen. And they just like rotoscope and take out the wires later on. But this is back when you had to photochemically edit and composite things, and it wasn't the best. We talked about it many, many times on this show. I mean, just hanging out in the store. This is definitely not a show. This is not being broadcasted. Don't worry about it. The alien in this, it's like colored different. It's like
it's like a bright green.
Sometimes it's green and sometimes it's like way too black. It doesn't match the full suit and it just looks wonky. It looks so wonky. Luckily, like when you first see it walk up to her, it looks bad, but then you get the scene of it like right in its face.
Yeah, that's when it looked good.
Yeah, because that's Studio 80i making those like suits and everything. The suits look beautiful. The hydraulics in it look great. But yeah, this scene was intense the first time you see it because you're just like, oh shit. Like she's never been that close before without like a robot suit or something. She's completely
and it's kind of like just toying with her, like it doesn't kill her right away.
Yes, that was like the big mystery because I remember watching it. I'm like, wait, it just leaves her, and I'm like,
I mean, but we know now. We
eventually figure out why.
Like, but when you're watching, you're like, why isn't he killing her?
Yeah. So it's really, really cool. And then Gallic disappears from the entire film.
Yeah,
you never see that guy again.
It's kind of like Spike.
Yes, and the actor was like really upset. Because there was more with him, all got thrown out.
I've had friends say, in fact, we saw you in one scene and then you kind of disappear. You know, nobody knows quite where you disappear to, which is a bit of a mistake.
Kind of like you and Batman.
Wait, how did you know about that, Prison Mike?
I know a lot more than you think.
Oh wow! Like
you watched that?
Did you recognize me from The Dark Knight Rises?
I did.
Wow.
I said, that guy in the background looks like Tony from Hack the Movies.
Oh, wow. How did you know I was Tony from Hack the Movies? I don't think I ever properly introduced myself.
It was a good guess. You can see that head from anywhere.
Well, thank you for recognizing me in that film.
I know a star when I see one.
Do you like that film, Dark Knight Rises?
I did, yeah.
You like Bane in that film?
I love Bane in that film.
You like Bane, right?
Yeah.
Big Bane fan.
Yeah. I love him so much I named my dog after him.
Your dog in prison?
Before prison. Pre-prison.
Oh, before prison. Okay. According to this movie, you just bring a dog to prison. Who knew?
Yeah, apparently.
I love the scene of her running while the warden's like, everyone relax. Some people died. We're working it out. And she just comes out and she's like, it's here. And he's like, oh, get this woman out of here.
Yeah.
And then it just fucking picks him up. It makes no sense. The alien probably wouldn't be that blatant and attack someone in front of everyone. But it's a cool fucking scene.
It is.
I just love the one guy, Moores. He just screams fuck and the scene ends.
Yeah.
Fuck! So this is another thing. This is how you know the movie didn't have a script ahead of time. So we're like 59 minutes in, right, to the movie. Suddenly, Aaron, the warden's assistant, they start this running gag where his name is 85.
85's going to be in charge. Jesus, give us a break.
Don't call me that.
Because that's his IQ. Because he has a low IQ. But like it shows up so late into the movie because they came up with that idea while they were making the movie. So
it's not even worth the joke.
Yeah, because most of the scenes he's just like a normal guy.
Yeah. He doesn't act dumb or anything.
No. And then like he kind of does in a couple scenes, and it's just like they're just throwing
They
anything.
really tried to fit that joke in there.
Yeah,
it didn't fly.
They were happy with that joke and they didn't know how to squeeze it in.
It was a lot funnier in their head.
Yeah, it was way funnier in their head. She comes up with a plan. She's like, we're going to flush this alien out of the vents.
Yeah.
We're going to use fire. I do like that when she's just like, because when she's asking about weapons, she's like, do we have the ability to make fire? Most people have enjoyed that since the Stone Age. And he's like, oh, okay. Because by the way, the prison has all this high-tech stuff and none of it works.
Of course.
She's like, what about the camera? He's like, nah, it doesn't work. She's like, do we have flashlights? No batteries. Like, this place sucks.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was dumb.
So there's a toxic waste room that they could trap the alien in. There's no way to get out of it. So they're painting all the vents and stuff with this flammable liquid. They're going to light the fire, scare it out, lock it in the room. Everything goes horribly wrong.
Of course it does.
Yes, the alien kills a guy and his flare just lights up the place and fires everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
People are fucking falling out of the ceilings on fire. They're all just fucking dead. And then the scene just kind of awkwardly cross dissolves to them just walking slowly and being sad.
Yeah.
And then a guy goes, Dylan, I found another one. And it's a dead guy on the floor, but he's not burned at all. His throat is slashed and he got his blood all over his face. You know, if I didn't know any better, Prison Mike, I would think that character who's dead on the ground with his throat slit and all bloody, he must have died a different way in a different scene. But then they cut that scene out. So then they put that weird line of dialogue where they go, here's another one. And they just make you think he was on fire. So they're sad. They're like, man, we didn't get the fucking alien. And there's nice foreshadowing here because the bucket gets really, really hot. And when the sprinkler hits it, it expands.
Yeah.
Good foreshadowing. So that's why when something happens later in the movie, you go, the bucket. That makes sense. You're not going to like text someone and be like, hey, why did the alien blow up at the end? I mean, no, the bucket's there, so you don't have to text someone that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you probably didn't text anyone because you don't have a phone in prison. Well, you're not supposed to have a phone in prison.
Right.
I won't rat you out. You're not supposed to. Did you get
You're not supposed to escape from prison either, but
yeah, it's fucking.
Here I am in this rental store.
Yeah. You picked the perfect place to hide. I don't think many people are coming in here for a copy of Secret Life of Altar Boy starring Jodie Foster.
Especially on VHS.
Yeah. Do you not like VHS? I mean, we have some DVDs. We have Bikini Airways. Signed by the director. Do you have a DVD player?
I used to.
Okay. Anyway, so while they're debating like what to do, Ripley's like, I don't feel so good.
No shit, she got an alien in her.
Yeah, it turns out she has an alien in her.
Yeah.
And this was a cool moment I thought as a kid. I'm like, oh fuck, like how much can the alien ruin her life more? And it's like, oh, now the alien's inside of her. And it turns out that's not even the end of the alien trying to ruin her life. Well, that's a different movie for a different day. Yeah, she finds out it's a queen because it's got the crown. You can see it there.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit, that's like
Beautiful
the worst
queen.
one to have. That's the one you don't want. So I guess the alien face hugged her, but it broke Newt's pod. And then I guess it went to Ripley. And then it
The
face
thing
hugged.
really gets around.
And yeah, then it face hugged the dog and it somehow didn't die in between. Okay. They're rewriting the rules here. They're getting
Yes,
a
of
little
course.
weird with the rules. I'm guessing because it's a queen alien, it's taking longer to grow because all the other movies, it's like a day and it's out. Because the dog got out like right away. And that thing got face hugged afterwards.
Yeah.
Sci-fi rules. Am I right?
Exactly.
Anyway. So yeah, Aaron just won't let her tell the company. She's like, hey, tell the company that there's the contamination. They shouldn't come here. And he's like, what? I want to go home. Fuck you. And she's trying to explain to him, it's like, no, they just want the alien. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
They just want the alien. But he's stupid because he has an 85 IQ.
I mean, I don't blame him. I want to go home too.
Yeah, that place looked like it sucked.
Yeah.
By the way, so there's a couple lines of dialogue that you might miss the first time. Because I remember when I was watching this as a kid, I'm like, why don't they just go outside? But then there's a couple lines where they're like, it's like below 80 degrees and the wind is like awful. Like you can't survive outside for long periods of time.
But in the second one and the first one, they went outside.
It's a different planet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a different planet.
Okay. Cut that so I don't look like an idiot.
Cut what? We're just having a conversation. This isn't a show. So Ripley decides she's going to look for the alien herself.
Of course.
She's just going to go look for it.
Ripley.
Lieutenant Ripley. The British people call her Lieutenant because I guess that's like the British version of saying lieutenant. It sounds like they're saying lieutenant. Who cares about British people? Yeah. Except for the ones who, never mind, this isn't a show. You're not being filmed. Don't worry about it. So Ripley goes into the basement and she's like monologuing in this.
Don't be afraid. I'm part of the family.
I feel like David Fincher like shot this scene. Like the studio didn't want him to shoot the scene. And I think he shot it anyway because he thought it'd be important. Because she's talking about like, you've been in my life so long. I can't remember anything else. And that makes sense for like Sigourney Weaver, who had been doing these movies for a while.
Yeah.
But if you think about Ripley, she dealt with an alien for one day, slept for 57 years, woke up for a few weeks, worked on a space station, dealt with aliens for one more day, and then slept. So I think she's like 2 or 3 days at the most dealing with this alien.
This alien thing.
This is the most she's dealt with the alien since then. But yeah, she's like monologuing. She's like, oh, you've been in my life. I'm going to do this to you, blah, blah, blah. Scene ends, cuts to black. She's fine. The alien won't kill her. Because the alien knows the queen's in there. Right. And it's just like, I need that thing to pop out eggs. I can't do it. Like, that girl needs to chill. So she tries to get Dylan to kill her. Because she can't do it herself. She's like, hey, do you mind? Would you just cut my head off with an axe?
Oh, yeah. No big deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I don't know. I would be like, hey, by the way, there's like a whole medical facility. I'm pretty sure you just overdose on something. I don't think you need to go right to axe beheading.
Or just step outside in that below 80 degree weather.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That's what I would do. If I went out there, I want to die too.
Yeah, the big furnace. This is like, hey, you know that big fire? Furnace. Fire that thing up. I got to jump in. Shoot yourself up full of morphine so you don't feel it. Go right into that thing.
Go down in flames.
So Dylan's basically like, wait a minute, the alien won't kill you? We can use that. I'll kill you afterwards. He's like, I promise to kill you afterwards, but let's use this right now to our advantage.
He's like, it's been a while since I killed somebody. I'm a little rusty.
I'm a little rusty.
Yeah.
Another thing that probably came way late into production, Morse is suddenly a main character, this other random bald guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you made a deal with God to live forever. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, that's we're learning that really late into the movie. And this guy is now one of our third main characters. So it's like, okay, I don't know how that happened. Dylan inspires them to unite and kill the alien, but they really don't have any choice because Ripley's like, yeah, the company's going to kill you guys.
Yeah.
Like, they just want this thing. They don't care about you. I like what she said. She's like, first they sent out a team and they were expendable and Marines were expendable. Like, you guys are prisoners. They don't give a shit about you. Like, no one's going to care if you guys are gone. Which I don't agree with. I think even prisoners have rights.
Thank you.
Yes. Depending on the crime. So they're like, all right, fuck it. I guess
unlike Kevin Spacey.
Huh?
Unlike Kevin Spacey.
He's doing another movie.
Oh, good.
He's done a couple movies, I think, since then. They're like all foreign films. They don't get wide releases. So their new plan is to use themselves as bait and lure the alien into like this corridor and then push it into a mold and drop hot lead on it.
Yeah.
This is a very risky plan. I would not be excited for this plan. Like, I would not be thrilled.
I mean, they didn't have many other options.
They really didn't have many other options. All right, so in this scene, you get the really, really bad effect and a way that they filmed around it. You get more of the rod puppet, and the rod puppet is straight up like you said, greenish yellow in some points. But they came up with this cool thing where like when the people are running, it's all from the camera's point of view. It's got kind of like a wide lens, and they had a Steadicam so the guy would make it look like the alien was running up the wall.
Yeah.
I thought that was really effective. I don't know if you did.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Jaws. It's the Jaws thing. It's like hey, we can't really show the shark, so we'll use this camera thing with the music. How do you say Jaws?
Jaws.
Did you say it with L's too?
Jaws.
Jaws.
Jaws. I don't know.
I get made fun of all the time.
Jaws.
Yeah, I think you
Jaws.
say it like I do with L's.
Jaws. Jaws is.
Jaws. Ah, God damn it.
I can hear the Philly accent when I say Jaws.
Yeah, that's like the main Philly thing that I have.
Yeah, Jaws.
Prison Mike, I didn't know you were from Philly. That's like my main Philly thing is the words in AW turn into L's.
Yeah.
What's that clear liquid that you drink?
Water? Not water.
You don't say water?
No, I do not say water.
Okay. Me and
That's
you
just
have a lot in
stupid.
common, Prison
It's
Mike.
water.
Me and you have a lot in common, Prison Mike. I mean, I don't get caught for my crimes, but whatever. Let's get back to Alien 3. So I love all these scenes of the aliens chasing the guys. But again, because they're all like assholes, I kind of don't care when they die.
Yeah.
Except for the one guy, Pete Postlewaite. I could never pronounce his name right. He's I was about to say he's the bald guy, but I realized that wouldn't actually help.
No.
And that's another problem. There's many scenes in this where I'm like, I'm not clear who just died.
We all look alike.
They actually do all look alike in this movie. One guy has bandages. I'm like, okay, that's the bandage guy.
Even I got him confused.
It's funny, that guy with the bandages, he's in the director's cut of Justice League. And the guy who put the goggles on when attacking Ripley, he's in the theatrical cut of Justice League. So both Justice League cuts have two different Alien 3 guys. Have you seen Justice League?
No.
Have you seen the 4-hour-long director's cut of Justice League?
I've never seen any 4-hour movie.
They don't play a lot of 4-hour movies in prison?
No.
Okay.
And I'm not watching them if they do.
Okay. So at one point, the one prisoner is going to pull the piston too early. And it's Zardoz. Did you ever see Zardoz starring Sean Connery?
Nope.
You never saw that famous image of Sean Connery with the red underwear and the bullet belts?
No.
No? Zardoz is a pretty good movie. But that one the fat bald guy is Zardoz in that film. I guess that would be cooler if you knew what Zardoz was.
Can't help you out there.
Zardoz is not a very good movie.
And
but
this is why you're hacked the movies.
Yes, but Zardoz is a very interesting movie. I didn't know who that guy was for years, and then I saw Zardoz. I'm like, that guy's in Alien 3, and now every time I watch it, I'm like, it's so distracting. That's Zardoz. And for being technical, it's Arthur Frayne. Zardoz was the fake.
Yeah, Arthur Frayne.
The fake alien
Like,
that he made to manipulate Sean Connery's people. As we all know, except for Prison Mike. Zardoz isn't that popular, don't worry. So he basically calms down. She's like, please, for the love of God, we only got one chance of this. Stop it. So yeah, they're all pretty much dead. They're going to lure it. They're trying to lure it back in because he eventually does hit the piston again. And they're like, you got 5 minutes to get this fucker back in here. While this is happening, the company is coming and there's a mysterious person whose face they aren't showing.
Yeah, who was that?
Well, we'll find out. Actually, we won't find out. The movie never makes it clear who that guy really is. The expanded universe has, but who knows if that's accurate. So she finds the alien, but now she's in a predicament because the alien won't come out of this corner because it can't go through her because it's like, fuck, I can't kill her. I kind of need her. But Dylan comes with the plan where it's like, oh, I'm just going to grab her so he'll think I'm like hurting the queen and lure her out. And then it's that awful rod puppet again.
Of course, yeah.
I love that it just looks at Moores and then just ignores him. It's like, who would have thought at the beginning of the movie, never in a million years that I think that guy was going to make it toward the end because he was so forgettable. So yeah, they lure it into the little thing. They put it into the mold, and poor Dylan, he sacrifices himself. That made me sad.
Fuck you.
Dylan was a nice, well, he said he was a murderer of women. But in this movie, he did
I thought he was very nice in this movie.
I'm sure he was redeemed by the Lord, and he was deserving not to be eaten by an alien. But yeah, he gets fucking like destroyed by this alien, so Ripley can get out. And then they pour the lead on the alien. They melt it And it's a happy ending, right?
You would think.
No. This thing explodes. I don't know how it explodes out of the lead. Like, did it just jump really high? Like, it looks cool, but it doesn't make sense when you think about it. And a callback to the bucket. Morris is like, hey, that thing's boiling hot. Hit it with the sprinklers. And this fucking thing blows up. The only CGI that's in the movie when it comes to the alien is the head cracking. That is the only actual CGI in the movie. Because there was no other way to do it. It was like a new thing that they were testing. I feel like they should have waited another year to do this movie because then they could have had a CGI alien. And
yeah, that would have been a lot better.
It's so, you forget, movies that weren't Jurassic Park, a lot of them had really bad CGI, but it would have looked a little bit better than this.
It couldn't look any worse.
I don't know. Have you ever seen Species?
Well, no.
There's a possibility it could have looked as bad as Species. Same guy, H.R. Giger, who designed the alien in Species.
Oh, go figure.
That's like Alien if the alien was like a hot girl who was horny.
Which one is that?
I got 1 and 2 here.
You don't have these in alphabetical order? Do you? Oh, yeah, you do.
The Species 1 and Species 2.
Oh, they look brutal.
Yeah, they're pretty
Let me
good.
see the case on that. Is that the alien?
Yeah. See, it kind of looks
It
like...
It kind of reminds me of Slimer. From Ghostbusters.
Maybe one day we'll talk.
It looks like a human version of Slimer.
What?
Yeah.
Let me see this. Okay, yeah, this one is. Oh, this is the special collector's edition. Most of the covers, it's like sexy girl that's turning green. But anyway, the CGI in this is rough, and I'm afraid the alien probably would have looked like that.
When was that made?
Oh, this was made, I want to say 95. So it was like 2-3 years later.
So it just didn't have the budget?
I guess it just didn't have the budget. Yeah, so the alien is now dead, and then the company shows up, and it's Bishop?
Ripley.
Maybe? The guy says that he designed Bishop and that he's human. He's not an android.
Yeah.
And it's like, the company wanted me to send you a friendly face. Doesn't really make sense because it's like, she hated Bishop until like 20 minutes before he got split in half.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't the biggest Bishop fan. So yeah, it's unclear. He's credited as Bishop 2, but I think there was like a video game where he popped up and his name was like Michael or something. And then have you ever seen Alien versus Predator, the movie, is a prequel.
We did not get up to that part yet.
No. Yeah, that's a prequel. It's bad. But Lance Henriksen comes back again. He's Charles Bishop Whalen, like this character's great ancestor. It's stupid. I think they just wanted Lance Henriksen in the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Besides being the robot.
Yeah.
I don't know why they wanted him more than the other two, but...
And good for that guy, just collecting a paycheck like that.
He really is, yeah. Good for him. He was smart to come back for AVP. I mean, that was a bad movie. It's a terrible movie, but he probably got paid a bunch for it. I met him at a convention a couple times. He's really nice. He's like the sweet, tiny old guy. Ever see Man's Best Friend with him?
No.
Oh, man. You got to see Man's Best Friend. It's like he makes a genetically engineered like dog. I think it might be a Rottweiler. And it's got like superpowers and it like falls in love with a girl and it like tries to kill a guy.
Does it have big balls too?
Yes. It legit eats a cat at one point. And the dog is so smart that it cuts the girl's boyfriend's brakes. And it can camouflage. It's a pretty awesome movie. But Lance Henriksen is the one that has to try to kill the dog because the dog's evil.
Oh, man.
You got to check out
Another dog dies?
Yeah. I'm sorry. But there's puppies at the end. Anyway.
Is it me or am I the only one that thinks Bishop looks like
Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, William Dafoe.
Willem.
Excuse me.
Willem. A lot of people mess that up. Yeah, they both have those like skeletal features.
Yeah, I thought it was him at first when I first seen him.
That's another thing. Like whenever they play good guys, it's just like, you look so evil. Like it's not your fault. I think there was like, I read a thing years ago, like people with like skeletal features, like people are more scared of them. And I guess it's like an evolutionary thing for some reason.
That,
I don't know what the exact cause is. But yeah, because there's plenty of movies where Willem Dafoe and Lance Henriksen are good guys, but you're just like, what's that dude up to? I don't trust that dude.
You don't trust them.
And Ripley doesn't trust him.
It's those cheeks.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, we're going to take that alien out of you. She's like, bullshit. Like there's no fucking way you're doing that. And she does the noble thing. She throws herself into the fire.
Yeah.
And she's 100% right, because as she's doing it, he's like, please don't kill the alien. We need it. And then they kill Aaron.
And she just held it down, too, so the alien wouldn't go anywhere.
So that was added later on, because this was being made the same time as Terminator 2. Terminator 2 had not come out yet. Have you seen Terminator 2?
No.
Okay. You might like Terminator 2.
Maybe.
It's the guy who directed Aliens. He did Terminator 1 and 2.
So then probably.
Yeah, you probably like it. Stop after that, although I like Terminator 3, but that's because it's dumb. In that movie at the end, spoiler, the Terminator lowers himself into hot steel. Both Terminators get killed in this molten steel to like melt them. And they were writing this movie and they were like, well, shit. We have the same fucking ending. They're like, how can we make it different? So they went back and shot it to have the queen come out of her.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, if we do the one producer explains it, like, if we have the chest burster come out of her, like that is so alien that people will forget about Terminator.
Well, I took it as like the alien was trying to escape because they knew she was going to kill herself and the alien in the fire.
Yes.
So the alien was trying to escape, so she held it down so he couldn't.
And there was, in the Wooden Planet script, there was an ending like that. There were two endings where she walks into fire, and there was another ending where they get it out of her, and it needs warmth, so then it runs to the fire and kills itself on accident.
And then the whole planet goes up in flames because it's a wooden planet.
Oh, yeah, I guess that would have happened.
Yeah.
It's a good thing they changed that. That would have been weird.
Bad call.
The pictures are nice. The storyboards and the artists, conceptual artists, look really, really
What kind
nice.
of wood was it? Like a cherry wood?
You know what? I don't know. That's one of the producer's problems. He's like, we just couldn't figure it out. We're like, where did they get the trees for the planet? Like, he just couldn't figure it out. So yeah, the music swells and everything. So she finally did it. She rid the universe of the alien. And then Moores is the only one left alive. I assume he gets executed afterwards.
Yeah, probably.
But it's like, really? That guy? Like, the movie literally ends with him smiling. It's like, I didn't realize he was a character until like
where did this guy come from?
He had the one line in the beginning and then he disappeared. He's kind of just in the back. He says fuck that one time.
Yeah. Potty mouth.
But yeah, he was not like a big character until like the last 10 minutes. That's what happens when you shoot a movie without a script, Prison Mike.
Yeah, when you just throw it together.
Weird stuff like that happens.
You put the trailer out before the movie even happened.
So that's why Alien 3 failed with audiences. It was really, really hyped up. They were expecting something more like what they were used to. They wanted something like Aliens. And the movie took a very hard turn. It was a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
None of their favorite people came back. There's just a bunch of random bald prisoners and you can't tell them apart.
Nope, never can.
You never can. Yeah, and people felt really, really betrayed by this movie. I know James Cameron felt betrayed by it. He was like, I think that was a slap in the face to the fans, killing all my characters. Because James Cameron wrote Aliens. He didn't just direct it. He like wrote and came up with those characters. So imagine him in the theater just going, the fuck, dude? Why'd you do that? He's since calmed down on it.
I mean, it's been 30 years. I would hope so.
Yes. He's like, I'm still not really thrilled about it. There's a reason people have come around on this. And that's because there is another version that was released, the assembly cut. But I still think this version that we have, it's not great. The movie's never going to be 100% great because of all the flaws and whatnot, but I still think it kind of works. The dog part's sad.
Yeah, I did not like that part.
Yeah, the effects could be better. But,
so basically, we need to make aliens great again.
Yes, we got to make them great again.
Gotcha.
Sadly, a person who's usually in the store died not too long ago, and she would have agreed with you. I think she would agree with you.
Yeah, I think so.
And probably many other things. But yeah, that's why it failed. It was a letdown. It didn't have all the action that the fans wanted. It was kind of confusing, the alien lore that we learned, because the face hugger was weird. And it's just a bummer. Just an overall bummer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess because you have a unique perspective, I mean, was this movie accurate to prison life?
Except for all the bald people? No.
Okay. Well, this is all right. So I shouldn't go to prison and remember this movie. It won't prepare me for prison.
Correct.
Okay, good. Anyway, that is it from us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Call our voicemail line and sign up for our Patreon.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh, Prison Mike, I hope you're not too mad at me. I lied. This is a show that I do.
A what?
Yeah, we just did a show.
A show? You got me on a show. I'm trying to hide out here, and you got me on a television show.
I mean, it's for YouTube. I mean, how many people could possibly see it?
I don't know. You tell me. How many viewers do you have?
I mean, I got like
12, 13.
I think I got like 45,000 subscribers.
1,000.
Yeah, and one of our alien videos actually got 100,000 views. Is that gonna be a problem for you?
Yeah, I think it is. Do you think it's gonna be a problem for me?
Do the cops usually watch YouTube?
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
who doesn't watch YouTube?
Do you watch YouTube in prison? Is that where you watched Alien?
No, somebody sent it to me.
So that was the long-awaited Alien 3 review. We hyped it up for over a year. I hope it wasn't a letdown. I think people will like it. You think people will like it?
No.
Oh, God. Prison Mike. Prison Mike, I think they found you. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. What? No. Please don't. Don't shoot.
We're going back.
Don't shoot. Why are you shooting? No.
What are you doing?
Oh, I had the most horrible nightmare that I did the Alien 3 review with just some guy and it ended horribly.
Was he bald?
Yeah. What are you guys doing here?
We're doing the assembly cut.
You know, the best version of this movie?
That's right. We have to review the Alien 3 assembly cut.
I think Capcom does a great job when they're adding like collaboration characters.
I've never been able to extend this way.
Oh God, I gotta get the helmet on. Oh God.
Wait a minute, our guy's a bad guy the whole time.
I just think it's crazy that I'm better at video games now than when I was like 16.
That is how you fix all the problems with all these games.
I feel like toy distribution is so different than it used to be.
They resculpted over the chest. They gave him a flak jacket over it.
I laugh when I see Among Us, but I'm not having fun inside. It's a reflex.
No, you took my joke!
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.